Wow, you guys are all amazing, because you're all doing this because... You want to use the microphone? Oh, sorry, right, there you go. What's your name?
Gwen.
Okay, and what do you like doing?
I want to sit down there.
Okay, you go to Mum for a minute. Right, so you guys, you're really lucky. Because most of you are doing this because you're volunteers in organisations or whatever. We run a business, so we're a very different operation to you. Stephanie Reynolds? No. Shirley Reynolds. You mentioned lifelong learning at the beginning. In another incarnation, I was a lecturer. And lifelong learning is really important. But people focus on the top end, not the bottom end. Lifelong learning starts when you're small. This is our managing director, Gwen. But Patricia, who's now going to be embarrassed because she doesn't know I'm going to say this, Patricia epitomises what we're all missing out. She's the minority in aviation and engineering. She's young, she's black, i.e. she's an ethnic minority, and she's female. As a business, having my boss, we all know the wives of the boss, having my boss, who has achieved what nobody else has done. She's the only black female inspector for the LAA, the only black female inspector for the BMA. As a business, we have made it our business to share our passion outside our business community. And that's tough. One of the things which has come up repeatedly in what people have said recently is this realization that actually 11 to 18-year-olds are untouchable. And that's because of the Minister of Education. You can blame Tony Blair's Education manifesto, which made this section of education overcharged. It's almost impossible to get into those schools. It's almost impossible to get access to that age group. What we have discovered, thanks to our managing director, Gwen, is that even before primary school there's a new opportunity. Because of Gwen, we are seeing more opportunities in our business to share our passion with under fives. Primary schools are very welcoming. Preschools are even more welcoming. But we then come against the problem which I see with the Build a Plane projects, which are very self-selecting. No disrespect to you young people here, you have self-selected yourselves to get involved in aviation engineering because you have chosen to join a group. And great, kudos to you. You're fantastic. But the minorities, which include the girls, the ethnic minorities, and also the people from the wrong postcodes, people who by an accident of geographical birth are a minority to exposure to aviation and engineering, are lost. They're not self-selecting because they don't think they can get there. Long-term projects, big projects, are inaccessible to them. I love the previous speaker, half a day. YouTube has changed our world. And if you watch, very, very soon we're launching a YouTube channel. It's aimed at our customers, that's people who build aeroplanes, people who install engines, people who are servicing, and also flying tips. But there's also a section on that YouTube channel which will be aimed at all sorts of young people. And that's where we've realised there's a new challenge, that attention span. That wasn't even programmed, but it was great. The average YouTube video is 3 to 10 minutes. If a kid wants to look at an instructable, we've got young people here, if the instructable takes 2 hours to tell you how to do it, do you stay watching YouTube for 2 hours? No. You do? Well, you've got a better attention span than me. Well done. They want something short, sharp and interactive. They want something to take away. If it's a YouTube, we've got to make sure that that exposure is short, sharp and on the point. We've had great success with YESflyers project of bringing young people into Fuller Rivet. we found that most young people, 15 minutes is the tops that you can keep them without getting into mischief. 15 minutes. Stuart limits us to 10. And again, why? Because we've got so much going on in our lives, how are we going to get these young people involved? I love the art projects that Anne's doing, because a kid can sit down, scribble a picture and go away. Or if it's caught their imagination, it can continue to fester inside them. They can go out, they can get some crayons, they can do more. We've got to do the same with our projects. And as a business, we are investing today in a 5-year-old, so that in 40 years' time, that is a long-term investment, in 40 years' time, we want them to buy an aeroplane kit from us, we want them to buy an engine from us. So in fact, it'll be from Gwen, okay, because she'll take over, if she wants to. If we cannot engage the young people, if we cannot sow the seeds, we're going to fail. And then you have to go back to what I first learned as a salesman. It's all about numbers. It is all down to numbers. If you do a project that gets 10 kids involved, brilliant, great. Conversion rates. When we were in Africa, we flew thousands of kids, thousands. We introduced hundreds of children to aviation and engineering, and in the UK we've seen, with the exposure we've seen, an approximate same conversion rate. For every 100 people you expose, you will get between 1 and 5 of them long-term getting involved in aviation and engineering. That is a really good result. 5% is twice the normal result of a mailing campaign. A mailing campaign only brings a 2.5% inquiry rate. From that inquiry rate, you've got to turn it into sales. We are so in love with aviation and engineering, we think everybody should be. But it's not for everybody. Put your hand up. Are your 5 fingers the same? No, they're not. When we go out and we see young people, they are not the same. We have got to expose to as many as possible, as early as possible, if we want to get the numbers right. If we keep on working with the self-selectors, which we must continue doing, we are excluding the minorities. We're excluding the girls, we're excluding those people from the wrong postcode, and we are stopping reaching that tiny little percentage that we need if we want to save airfields, if we want to save our historical aircraft. We will only succeed by numbers. Today they're expecting, 1 million people marching in London? Yeah? What a campaign they have raised to do that. Whether we agree with it or not, they have hit millions of emails, millions of letters to get that result. It makes our attempts to share what we are so passionate about look feeble. We continue to preach to the choir. We continue to work with the self-selectors. And as a businessman, I know that if our business is going to succeed, I need you guys to get out there and get more people wanting to build aeroplanes, please. And I think Steve would like that as well. What we're doing is great. As a business, we will continue to use our time to go into schools and speak. We'll continue to our time to do school visits to our workshops, which are just at Sleip Airfield. We only moved here last year, so if you'd like to come and see, you're welcome. But please, Guinevere and the people of her age rely on you to continue what you're doing so that our business is a success, and we'll continue to our bit to help you. Patricia, you want to add something to that?
Yeah.
Before I get kicked off.
So earlier this week I heard a story, and that story really has remained with me, and
you go up there, I'll take over.
Meant a lot to me. So it was told to me by Jonathan. He went to the clubhouse at Sleip Airfield, and he bumped into a young lady who's just had a trial flight. And how many people here have ever had a trial flight? Well, not the older people, the young people. Any of you had a trial flight?
Yeah.
Good. that trial flight, when you first had it, meant something to you, didn't it? But anyway, this story went on. So this young lady came all the way from Success to Slave Airfield for a flight. So Jonathan asked, why Slave Airfield? There are so many other airfields around. And she said, this is the airfield my parents brought me when I was little. And I used to sit and watch the airplanes whilst they had dinner or flew around. So she made it a point to go all the way back there for her trial flight. Now, show by hand, how many people in this room say their early life first saw an airplane where you moved something in them? How old were you then? Anybody? 7 or 8? 3? Wow, that's young, and you still remember it. Yes, anybody else? And? Good. So at that age, you've seen an aeroplane. You haven't necessarily met somebody who was flying the plane at the time. You don't know who the pilot was, but it changed something inside of you. So that's what you need to tell yourself today. When you take an airplane flying, even if you don't learn and meet any young people, it might take that one person sitting somewhere in a corner to see that airplane, and it will mean something to them, and it might change their perception towards wanting to come into this industry. We know it's really, really hard to get young people into. The main reason I have found is we try to make it something that is considered for people who have lots of money, and that you have to come from a really rich background to be able to learn to fly. It's not the case, and Steve already said it. It's not that expensive. You said there's an airplane already with the permit ready to fly for under $5 grand. And if you can do that, now consider how cheaper it is for a young person to even walk onto an airfield, not even wanting to fly, even if you just get close to look at the airplane, even offer to watch the airplane for free. Because that's what I did, and see where I am today. It takes that one drop of water and a sponge or soap, and in many years to come, you will be reaping the results. So young people, thank you very much for coming today.
And old people too. I mean, I'm middle-aged too. And Gwen, would you like to say thank you to everybody?
Thank you.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say?